The Viking, a horned helmeted barbarian screaming into battle, a mindless brute from the frozen north. This is the image we all know, but it is a lie. The real Viking was a farmer, a trader, a poet, and a sailor of unparalleled skill. So what was it really like to leave your farm, cross the treacherous North Sea, and risk everything for a chance at glory and wealth? Welcome to Ancient Lives. We journey into the past to uncover these forgotten sagas. If you are ready to join our voyage and hear more tales of steel and salt, then show your strength by liking this video, subscribe to our clan, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let the saga begin. This is a day in the life of Bjorn, a raider on the coast of Anglo-Saxon England. For Bjorn, the day begins not with the clash of steel, but with the familiar scent of wood smoke and damp earth. He awakens in the semi-darkness of the longhouse, a great, smoky hall that is the heart of his village. A single, long fire pit in the center smolders with the embers of last night's fire, casting a warm, flickering glow on the sleeping forms of his entire extended family. His wife, his children, his cousins, and their livestock, all sharing the same space for warmth and safety. This is the first truth of the Viking. Before he is a raider, he is a farmer, a carl. His hands, though calloused from the grip of an axe, are equally familiar with the feel of a plow. He rises from a simple wooden bed covered in furs, the cold air of the morning biting at his skin, and pulls on a coarse woolen tunic. His home is not a barren wasteland, but a vibrant, living village nestled in a green, misty fjord. The longhouse slowly comes to life. The sounds of sleep are replaced by the quiet bustle of the morning. Sigrid, Bjorn's wife, is already awake, stoking the fire, her movements practiced and efficient. Life here is dictated by the seasons and the sun, a rhythm of hard work and simple survival. Breakfast is a communal, quiet affair. A piece of dense, dark rye bread, a chunk of hard, salty cheese, and a bowl of skyr, a thick, sour yogurt, are passed around. Sometimes, there is salted fish, pulled from the cold, clear waters of the fjord, or a hearty porridge of oats and barley. It is a meal designed for fuel, not for pleasure, meant to sustain a body through a long day of labor, in the fields or at the forge. Bjorn eats with his family, the unspoken tension of the coming voyage hanging heavy in the air. His young son watches him, his eyes wide with a mixture of awe and fear. He knows his father is leaving, but doesn't yet understand the brutal nature of the world that demands it. Bjorn steps outside. The air is cold and sharp, filled with the clean scent of pine and the salt of the sea. The village is a collection of sturdy wooden longhouses with turf-covered roofs, nestled between the dark, imposing mountains and the gray, placid waters of the fjord. Smoke rises from every home. At the shore, the drakkar, the longship, waits. Its carved dragon head, painted in faded reds and blacks, stares out towards the open sea, hungry for the journey. He sees other men from the village, also preparing, checking their weapons, mending leather straps, their faces grim and determined. These are his neighbors, the men who help him bring in the harvest. Today, they will be his shield brothers. The final moments before departure are the hardest. There are no grand speeches, no cheering crowds, just a series of quiet, heavy goodbyes. Sigrid comes to him at the shore, her face a mask of stoic strength, but her eyes betray the fear she feels. She hands him a small carved wooden charm, a depiction of Thor's hammer, to protect him on his journey. He tucks it safely inside his tunic, a small piece of home to carry with him into the chaos. He kneels before his son, placing a heavy hand on the boy's shoulder. He looks him in the eye and speaks in a low, firm voice, passing on the words his own father once told him. Be strong, protect the family. A man's worth is measured by his deeds. This is the education of a Viking child, a lesson in duty and the harsh realities of their world. This is not a journey taken lightly. For every man who returns with silver and glory, another is lost to the unforgiving waves or a foreign sword. Every family in the village has felt the sting of such a loss. As Bjorn climbs aboard the Drakkar, he takes one last look at the shore, at the faces of the women and children who are the reason for this perilous venture. He is not a monster devoid of feeling. He is a man willing to gamble with his own life to provide a better one for his clan. The Jarl gives the order. With a final, unified push, the men slide the longship from the shore into the cold water. They take their places at the oars, their movements synchronized and powerful. The rhythm of the drums begins, a steady, driving heartbeat. As the Drakkar glides out of the fjord towards the open sea, Bjorn does not look back. The life of a farmer is over. The life of the sea wolf begins. After weeks at sea, a different kind of silence falls over the crew. The boisterous songs and rough jokes have ceased. All that remains is a cold, focused anticipation. They finally see it, a faint gray line on the horizon. Land. The coast of Anglo-Saxon England. A wave of grim determination washes over the crew. The journey is over. The work is about to begin. They do not make for a fortified town or a bustling port. They are raiders, not an army. Their strength lies in speed, surprise, and terror. Under the cover of a thick morning mist, their Drakkar glides silently up a river mouth, its shallow draft allowing it to navigate where no other deep-sea vessel could go. The sail is down, the oars muffled with cloth. There is no sound but the gentle splash of the water and the cry of unfamiliar birds. They are ghosts, slipping through the enemy's veins undetected. The ship beaches softly on a muddy riverbank. There is no order given, none is needed. Each man knows his role. Bjorn and the others leap over the side into the cold, shallow water, their round shields held high, their heavy axes in hand. They do not wear horned helmets. That is a fantasy. They wear simple, conical steel or leather helmets that offer practical protection. Some, the wealthier warriors, wear chainmail, but for most, a thick leather jerkin is their only defense against a desperate farmer's pitchfork. The attack is a whirlwind of brutal efficiency. They move through the mist like gray phantoms, appearing at the low wooden walls of the monastery as if from nowhere. There is no grand speech, no formal declaration of war. Just a single, blood-curdling war cry from the Jarl that shatters the morning peace, a signal for the violence to begin. The battle, if it can be called that, is short and savage. The monks, men of God, and the few local militiamen are no match for 60 battle-hardened Norsemen. The air fills with the sounds of a splintering gate, the violent clash of steel on steel, and the screams of the dying. This is the brutal reality of the raid. It is not a glorious battle of equals. It is a violent, terrifying act of theft and destruction. Bjorn moves through the chaos with a cold focus. The fear he felt at sea is gone, replaced by the white-hot adrenaline of combat. He is not a farmer now. He is a wolf among sheep. Once the minimal resistance is broken, The true purpose of the raid begins: the plunder. The Vikings swarm through the monastery's halls, their primary target, the church. They rip golden crosses from the walls, pry jewels from holy books, and stuff silver chalices and plates into rough burlap sacks. These objects, sacred to the monks, are nothing more than bullion to the raiders, a convenient, portable form of wealth. They are not just thieves, they are thorough. They strip the monastery of everything of value: food from the kitchens, livestock from the pens, and something more valuable than gold: people. The surviving monks and any local villagers found hiding are brutally rounded up. They are bound with ropes, their faces a mask of terror and disbelief. They are no longer people. They are thralls, property, destined to be sold as slaves in the bustling markets of Dublin or Hedeby, or to spend the rest of their days toiling on a farm in a cold, distant land. As quickly as they came, they are gone. The drakkar pushes back into the river, a silent, gray ghost slipping back into the mist. It leaves behind a scene of utter devastation, smoldering ruins, the smell of ash heavy in the air, and a silence broken only by the weeping of the few who were spared. On the deck of the ship, the chaotic fury of battle gives way to a grim, weary quiet. The adrenaline fades, replaced by the dull ache of bruised muscles and the sting of fresh wounds. The mood is a strange, unsettling mix of grim triumph and exhaustion. Some men are boasting quietly, examining a fine piece of silver. Others sit in silence, staring blankly at the receding shore, the horrors of the day replaying in their minds. The Jarl, his face like a mask of granite, oversees the division of the plunder. This is a sacred ritual, governed by strict rules. Each man receives a share based on his status and contribution to the raid. Bjorn watches as the Jarl heaps a pile of silver coins, jewelry, and broken chalices onto a stretched cloak. He receives his share: a heavy silver arm ring, and a handful of coins. Its cold weight is a tangible reward for the day's bloody work. This silver will feed his family for a year. It will allow him to buy more land, to increase his standing in the village. It is the reason he is here. But the price of this silver is paid in blood. Not just the blood of their victims, but their own. One of their shield brothers was lost, an Anglo-Saxon axe buried in his chest. His body is wrapped in a sailcloth, a silent passenger on the journey home. Others are being tended to, their comrades roughly stitching deep gashes with needle and thread, pouring ale into the wounds to clean them. Every raid, a gamble. Every victory, bittersweet. As the drakkar reaches the open sea and the burning coast of England fades into the mist, a different feeling settles in Bjorn's gut. He looks at the terrified faces of the captured thralls huddled in the center of the ship. Young women and men, torn from their homes, their futures erased in a single morning of violence. He thinks of his own farm, his own village, his own family. He thinks of what it would be like to see a dragon ship appear silently in his own fjord. The line between wolf and sheep feels uncomfortably thin. This is the final hidden truth of the Viking raider. The violence he unleashes upon the world leaves a permanent scar, not just on his victims, but on his own soul. For Bjorn, this day was a success. He survived. He is richer, but he will forever carry the ghosts of that English shore within him. The Viking was not a simple monster from a dark age. He was a complex and often contradictory product of his harsh and unforgiving world. A world of scarce resources, of ironclad honor, and of a deep belief in a fate already woven by the Norns. A world where to survive, to prosper, meant being willing to risk everything, to cross a storm-tossed sea, and to take what you needed by force. Such was the brutal, unvarnished reality of their ancient lives.